My name is Christophe Bouchaud.
Christophe, what's your company name?
Our company name is Fortem, and you can find us at fortem.com.
Excellent. And what's your product name?
We have a suite of products called Omnipresence 3D.
And what does that do?
Omnipresence 3D is essentially a 3D platform that is a PSIM, or Physical Security Information Management System. Instead of relying on relational databases to drive our system, we rely on 3D models that are going to use spatial georeferences, X, Y, Z coordinates, as well as time, to drive the intelligence behind aiding an operator to actually manage a security operations center.
I was caught by this when I walked by because I saw these, it looked like Google Maps where it's a static picture of a building, and sometimes they don't have the building, they just have a CAD drawing, so to speak. And then I saw that your product was taking that and enhancing it and putting live video in that space and real-time stuff. Is that kind of what it does?
Oh, absolutely. And
it's fascinating.
It's very difficult to actually describe that over a non-visual medium, obviously.
It is, yeah. But everybody knows what Google Maps is. So picture you're going down the street in Google Maps and all of a sudden it goes live. And that's what Omnipresent 3D is doing. It's bringing in that data from your building in real time so you can track people, track guards, track data, track information. Not just a security application. I mean, you're here, but facility managers could use this. All kinds of people could use it, right?
Absolutely. As long as it speaks IP, we will be able to take the georeferenced coordinates and actually put it inside of our map, which then means that as an operator, if you're looking, let's say, for a defibrillator, or if you're looking for a particular item that is located inside your building, you will be able to direct the person in case of an emergency and tell them, hey, you know what, 15 feet to your left, there is a defibrillator, and you can help this person who's having a heart attack right now.
That's fabulous. So I'm assuming you're going to have a command center for this.
Absolutely.
But can we do it on a mobile app? Because everything's going mobile.
Yes, we do. And we push out the information. So the security center is actually always in control of the situation and will help direct whatever intervention needs to take place. That being said, they talk directly to the individual operators on the floor and push the information out to their mobile, giving them the relevant information at that stage. So it's video, it could be anything that you need to actually fulfill your task.
Can a guard walking the floor with a smartphone see? Can he be transmitted the image that the operator is showing him and saying, hey, here's where you are, right in front of you should be a picture of this?
Absolutely.
That's fascinating.
Absolutely. And then the operator will also tell him, because we are in a 3D model, you know what? He's about 15 feet behind the column to your right. And that is the most difficult thing to do. It's called situational awareness.
Right.
This is a military term. And essentially, when you're looking blindly at a camera that's coming through a VMS, you don't know where it is situationally inside
It's flat, right.
Exactly. It's completely flat. Right. And you also don't know if it's pointing north or south or east or west, which means that as you're helping this poor guard do his job, you're telling him, oh, okay, well, look to the left, not realizing that the guard is pointing out the other way and is actually his right.
Now, do I have to bring my 3D glasses with me to see this?
No, you don't.
Okay, just checking, because,
No, you don't.
3D TV, I don't need a 3D TV either.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
No, this is easy to use.
All right. So give me a kind of a day in the life, how this would work in a practical situation. Let's pretend I'm a facility, and I got 5,000 employees, and I got a command center, and I got a guard that watches cameras, and an incident happens. A determined intruder comes in and wants to kind of get past everybody. How would that work? I mean, what's the guard going to see, and how is he going to direct people to the site?
Yeah, so there's different tasks that are going to happen during the day, right? So most of the time you're going to be in a more proactive sort of surveillance mode. You'll organize guard tours and stuff like that. When an alarm comes in, and it could be pretty much anything. It can be derived from an intrusion system, it could be derived from, let's say, a stairway failing and the BMS system is sending you back some information.
Or door contact.
Or door contact, or whatever it is.
Anything that's on the system. Well, actually, not really true. Anything that you can see.
Exactly.
So I'm assuming you have motion sensor software that if the fire extinguisher falls off the wall, that's an event and we have to do something about it.
Exactly, because you'd use video analytics to actually analyze that particular item. The video analytics system would send us an alarm, and then that would trigger the guard looking at whatever he needs to do. That in turn will be categorized and sent over and assigned to an SOP, or standard operating procedure, which we will have programmed beforehand to direct the guard to do whatever it is that they need to do for
Does
that
it pop up at the command center and the smartphone that the guard has walking around
Well,
with?
that's a term. Pop-up is interesting. We never pop up anything.
I beg your pardon.
Because
We use it in America a lot, not Canada maybe.
No, that's okay. It has nothing to do with America or Canada. Popping up implies that you have a window
Right.
that's going to pop up. And that's one of the things that we learned from the video gaming industry, which is where we come from. That an interface has to be extremely clear and uncluttered.
Oh, very good.
As soon as you have something popping up, it means that you're masking information.
That's
You're
true.
starting to confuse operators, and your interface becomes difficult and complicated.
And they have to
use.
close it, and if they don't close it, they got a problem.
Exactly. But if you have 15 alarms at the same time, you have 15 pop-ups.
Very good point.
So you're burying the information. What the video gaming industry has taught us is essentially unclutter, simplify. Do not pop up things. Always give control to the player, in this case, the guard.
Right.
And lead him very, very straightforwardly, very simply, towards what they need to actually fulfill.
Simple concept, but brilliant, because you're absolutely right. And you came from the gaming industry. I mean, my son's a big gamer, right? And I watch these things for years, and that's exactly how they do it. I had to get a new sword. Well, I can't go over here and open up a new box, and it's just, the sword pops up, you grab it, and not pops up, so I'm sorry, but, it presents itself with information, and you move on. So as the guard's going through his tour and there's a live incident, does the guard take control, or may the guard take control of the incident from his smartphone and then send information back to the command center? Say, okay, I've done this, I've done A, I've done B, I've talked to this guy, whatever. Or does it all have to be generated from the command post?
Typically it comes from the command post because what you want is the overview. The issue with the guard on location is he does not have the bigger picture. So there may be something happening within 10 feet of him that may be very, very important to what he's actually doing,
right.
And he doesn't see it. So the philosophy is that the SOC operator is going to direct that person and make sure that they have all of the information that they need. What if I have a nasty individual 10 feet on the right, but I have 3 more that I can see coming in from the left, right? That's a piece of data that I need, right? I need to send in reinforcements. I can't send this poor guy alone against 4, right? He wouldn't see that, and if I only look at one video or one set of alarms, I wouldn't get that. Looking at the 3D model, all I have to do is pull up a little bit, just like you do in Google Earth. Look at what's surrounding it, then pick up the fact that there's 3 more nasty guys coming to the right, and then give that information. That's the situational awareness.
So when I was at Fox and Disney, I came from a studio background. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cameras. And as you know, it's impossible to manage. We would put somebody on camera watch for no more than 2 hours because your eyes roll up in your head and you can't, take it anymore. I'm assuming you're going to need a lot of data feeds on this to make this work. Here's my question. If I have 125 cameras like I did at the Fox Network Center, does this software make it easier for me to manage? In other words, I can't watch 125 cameras effectively as one guy. Seems like this software allows you to set up rules and responses and say, camera number 27 went off. Okay, now I didn't see that, but this system did, and I'm going to do something about it. Is that a fair way to say it?
Absolutely, and what I'll say is, and you can't see it obviously because we're just an audio medium, but the cameras are actually picked for you by the georeference in the system.
Oh, okay.
So contrarily to traditional systems where you have to go in the map and click on stuff and then go through the tree and remember where they were and so on and so forth, all you have to do is say, hey, I am here, I'm going to navigate through this just like in a video game. And as soon as that happens, all of the relevant cameras are going to pop up automatically based on my geolocation.
Now, I like that you said just like a video game. Here's the problem in the security business. I have white hair. Fortunately, I happen to know about computers because I got one in 1984 when nobody knew what it was. 2 floppy drives, right? My kids, 20 years old, they get the gaming thing. If this has been developed based on a gaming model, I think that's brilliant because that's the next generation of people that are going to be users. It's the guard that's 19, 20 years old. So I'm looking at some of the stuff here at the show, and it does look very game-driven. It looks just like, Soldier of Fortune, whatever those things are they play, War World, whatever it is, right? And I can see somebody in the demographic of 20 to 30 who is a gamer going, oh yeah, I get it, piece of cake, easy to use. Is it that easy to use? If you know how to use video games, is it that easy to use?
Yeah, I'm glad you raised that because what's behind it is, we have to cater to that generation.
Right.
The reality is people in SOCs do not earn a lot of money.
They do not, that's true.
And therefore they tend to be young. Therefore, what we want to do is, make the interface as simple to use as possible, as close as possible to something that they've already experienced, And thirdly, reduce to a minimum the amount of training that they need, because there's a lot of turnover.
Yeah, I would imagine somebody my age would not train up too quickly on this. Am I wrong?
No,
if
actually,
you're not a user? No?
it goes very fast.
Okay.
Because you realize very quickly that, okay, we're human beings, we have 2 eyes, we have stereoscopic vision. Therefore, it behaves the way that I behave when I'm in a real situation.
I mean, I was good at Duck Hunt, Nintendo, back in the day, but I can't operate these, joystick machine gun things. It's too complicated for me. How many moving parts does this thing have? Is it a mouse click thing? Is it a joystick? Or what? I mean, what do you need to physically operate it? Navigate?
We use what's called a space navigator. This is a normal piece of hardware that you can get at Fry's or any of the big stores. And essentially, it's a 6-way mouse.
Oh.
And it allows you to move in the 3 dimensions, pan, tilt, zoom, go wherever. You still use your mouse. So, my wife always kids me because she tells me I can't multitask. In Omnipresence, you can actually multitask.
Right.
Because you use your left hand. I'm a right-handed guy, so you use your left hand to actually navigate and go through the system.
Now, why did we make it left-handed?
Because you use the right hand to use your mouse. And with the mouse, what you can do is click on objects and get additional information. So the cameras are automatically chosen for you because of your position in space. When I click on something specific, I get an additional layer of data or information behind it.
Right.
So I'm actually able to do 2 or 3 things at the same time and say back home, honey, I did it.
Now, I've had a lot of experience with guards, and let me just say that sometimes they get into mischief. So, what is in place to track what they do on the system so they're not going through the system looking up girls' dresses and doing things the guards aren't supposed to do? Because that's what happens, I got to tell you.
Well, we come from Canada, so most of the time they actually focus a camera on the hockey game.
Well, that's another good point, too.
And of course, the security director is not too happy when that happens.
Exactly.
So essentially, we will give them tasks, and we also track what they're doing.
Right.
I mean, you've got to remember that everything is audited and logged. So we're able to actually manage and keep statistics, KPIs, benchmarks, and so on about their behavior, how quickly they responded to various items, and then also log it over time. And what's important with that is that we're also able to measure it, which then means we can apply continuous improvement and quality techniques like Six Sigma and all that good stuff, so that over time we can actually improve the performance of your system.
It's kind of self-teaching. Almost.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I know for sure, I can think of some guards I've had over the years that would, zoom in on office 402 the first time they came to work every morning and track Susie Q through the building, and the system's designed to drive data to him. In other words, there's an incident, I'm having the guard do something, but the guard has some control to go search himself, correct?
Yes.
Yes, but if we have this data logged, then we can kind of control some of that stuff.
Exactly, and you can see the behavior. You can also look at, is there a pattern of stuff that he's doing and so on and so forth, so that you want as much variety as possible, because he's obviously not covering your building or your facility properly.
How scalable is this? How big can you go on this?
Well, we have very, very large systems. I mean, I'm under NDA for some of them, but some of them include tens of thousands of cameras.
Really?
And dozens, in plural.
That sounds like a city. That's amazing.
Actually, we do have a city. It's the city of Singapore. And we were actually chosen for the Safe Cities initiative last year.
That's fabulous.
There were 4 consortia that were chosen. These were all major international companies. And we won one of the consortia.
So, can you talk about the city?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. So, in a city application, I'm assuming multiple command centers, zones. Is that kind of how you have it set up?
Yeah, it's actually
or is
divided.
It one TOC? One tactical operations center for emergency. It's all on the ground and it's all centralized.
No, that's a good question. There are actually 23 agencies collaborating on this within the state of Singapore, and there are several command centers. What they wanted to do was start fusing the data together, so that they could see abnormal behavior. One of the things that they were looking for instance, is are demonstrations starting up. You want to start predicting and using some of the video analytics, some of the information that's coming from various systems to see, is there a predictor that will lead to a riot or to some sort of nasty situation.
When the zombie apocalypse starts, it's because they start coming out of this sector and this sector and this sector. It's going to slowly build up, but you would be able to see a pattern of small gatherings that converge into one big gathering. Especially with the social media now. Somebody starts putting out a tweet for, what do you call that? Where people do these swarms, That's kind of starting up here in the States. It's potentially dangerous.
Yeah,
it's very
absolutely.
powerful,
And we were tracking some of those when we had the student demonstrations in Montreal a couple of years back.
Right.
And the students would not give, for instance, the direction. They were supposed to.
Right.
But they didn't give the direction of where their particular demonstration was going. Of course, looking at the social media, we could actually see where they were turning. And then we could tell, okay, well, they're turning left or right on this avenue and so on, and give the police a better chance for actually pre-positioning the agents so as to prevent a nasty situation from occurring.
Is this cutting edge stuff?
Yes, it is.
You're one of the forerunners in this?
We are it.
I suspected as much. Security Guy Radio knows things. We just have a sense about this kind of stuff. So let's get back to Singapore. I got, how many sectors do you say?
There were 23 agencies.
23 agencies, okay. So maybe you got a police, you got fire, you got
all
social services, garbage, metro.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're all operating in their area and doing their thing because that's what's important for the train right now. But if something happens outside the train area, does the train person go look at the police department area, or is it all just kind of there and you pull up what you need, or does the system drive it to you?
It's a bit of all of the above, because essentially when you're looking at 23 agencies, what you're looking at is a bunch of silos.
Right.
And they will deal with a particular situation, not pass on the information to the next silo.
That's what happens,
So what we're breaking down is we're breaking down the walls because everybody's using the same 3D model. So all they have to do is saying, okay, well, maybe this is going or spilling over to something else. Let me call or let me send to the guy next door in the silo next door my same map, turn on the layer of data that he needs to look at, and then maybe he can make sense of it.
Now, would you consider yourself an integrator, or are you the platform?
We are typically the eyes and ears that
of
will
other
be
systems.
used for other systems. We, in ourselves, do not generate any data. We rely on the data that is provided by others.
Single point of failure, is there one? Can I take out can I take out the train station module and the police go down, or is it split into different data centers or things like that?
Yeah, no, we're fully redundant, work usually in virtual environments, no single point of failure, 4.9 reliability, and all the good stuff, because obviously you're dealing with security.
And does this
in this case, it's national security, so the standards are even higher.
Does it go to the cloud in Canada on your servers, or is it local?
No,
never to you, okay.
No, never to us. The typical system is going to be completely closed in because we don't want people hacking into this. I mean,
it's true.
We are God in a certain sense.
Yeah.
And you don't want God on the cloud.
That's a very good point. Very well said. One of my favorite shows is it called How It Works?
Yeah.
That's the Canadian version, right?
Absolutely.
And the American version is something else that stinks. But I'm amazed that Canada, all those shows about how to manufacture the little piece of tape on the end of a shoelace, they're Canadian manufacturers. You guys must have more manufacturers in the United States. You manufacture everything for yourselves. It's amazing.
Well, I don't know. I think we have long winters and we're bored.
I think that's probably part of it. Well, very interesting. Give me your website again, and how do we get hold of you guys?
So we're Fortem, and you can reach us at fortem.com.
Fortem.com.
That is correct.
And the product is Omnipresence 3D. And it's been great talking to you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Okay, so what you're seeing right now is Omnipresence 3D demonstration, and this is a 3D PSIM. So welcome to the city of Montreal, and we will be navigating across the city using the 3D map that was provided there. So what the system enables us to do is to actually project directly into the model the different cameras and information that you would need. And this is what you're seeing here with these colored areas, where the system is directly projecting in it the different cameras that you have. So right now we are looking at the historic center of Montreal, and as you can see, we have live video that's being projected directly in here. And this is actually our office building, which we will be able to go and see. Jumping right in, you see that all of the information is related in a three-dimensional way so that we can actually look at what is going on inside of this building. Now, as you get different alarms coming in, which we will simulate right now, you will notice that I have a dashboard that is now telling me that I have alarms coming in.
and enabling me to go directly to these different events that you see on this side. So let's go see this access denied event. It will automatically open up a new tab, which you will see here on the left-hand side of the screen. Open up 6 related videos. These videos are placed because of the location of the trigger of this particular alarm. In this case, I can see that it's a badge scanner that initiated the alarm. And you can see over here that it's an access denied alarm. And my information, my standard operating procedure, is displayed automatically based on that event on this side. So the first thing it's asking me to do is to verify the video on the timeline. The timeline is actually located down here. I can use my mouse button to scroll in and out of the information and then use it to scrub the video to see what's going on. This particular individual has just badged a couple of times and now he's trying to break the door. He's just broken in, which means that I'm now looking at the video that is of interest to me, which is located in the green camera up here. So, it asked me to open up the evidence box, which is located on this side. I'm now going to go into this event and pick up that snippet of information and integrate in there the fact that the door got broken into. And I'm now going to start my investigation by simply scrubbing my timeline and moving my camera. So now I can see what this individual is doing on this particular camera. I can see that he is actually rummaging around, doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing in the office, and now leaving with some kind of an object. So let me scrub back. I can see that he's got something there. I'm going to take another picture and add it to my timeline. As I carry on scrubbing, I can now see that he's leaving over on this camera. This camera was automatically picked up, again because of the georeferencing based on the system. So let's play this thing out and let's see if we can actually capture a picture of this individual going through the door. There he is again. That is my entrance camera. Let me zoom in, get his face, put that into my evidence box. I've now finished my investigation. I'll close my evidence box. I visually confirm the cause of the alarm. I can now search, for instance, in my employee access database to see which badge he actually used, and then move on down and go through all of the instructions that I need to do. In this place, I'm looking for a specific badge. I can compare the access control credentials to the video. I can verify the employee schedule, and I can disable the badge, which is of course what I want to do, because obviously this is a stolen badge. Now that I have finished my investigation, I return there, close off the event, and then go back to what I was doing before. So as you can see, what we've done is we have integrated all of the subsystems, the access control system, the intrusion detection system, and the video system across the board using georeferencing to get all of the information that we need.
That is outstanding. You guys want to come on the show and do this with a better video?
Absolutely.
No, this is great. And why don't you send me something and we'll put it up on the website. This is very good. You're on the camera, you can't get out of it. Say hi.
Hello.
Thanks a lot, appreciate it.
Thank you.